All right, week 9, grind of the season. Thankful that we have opportunities to still get better, and really appreciate our guys practicing as hard as we do. They're meeting the challenge that way, which gives you a chance to compete and go on the road, which is a tough thing to do in any conference, and in this conference in particular. So, guys are going out there with the chip on their shoulder. We need to play much better defense. We gave up way too many explosive plays last week. We're working on tackling and trying to get better overall in sound defense. So, any questions?
How did it go this week? Did you see improvement? Did you see?
Oh, absolutely. I think our guys, every week we've come out here, the intensity that they practice with, the effort level. We still got things to clean up as far as our fundamentals of tackling, but I just appreciate that we're in 2-3 months into this thing, and our guys are still putting that work in on Tuesdays and Wednesdays in particular.
What sticks out to you about Lindsay? I know you've had trouble in a few weeks defending runs, but he seems like he runs a little bit differently. Yeah,
last week obviously with the spread option, it's a little bit different than this week, but he's a really complete back. He's a back that is not real big, but runs powerfully. He can really burst. He's got great vision, patience, can catch the football. For a smaller guy, does a great job in protection. And so, really a 3-down back, and to me, one of the best backs in this conference.
Is he similar? I mean, I know you guys have gone good against good. Similar to Trey?
Probably, yeah, a pretty good bit of similarities. Stature-wise, they both can really be patient and explode. Both are really tough to bring down. So, yeah, it's probably a good comparison.
You mentioned something I was going to ask about. He doesn't look big on tape, but he runs through guys. And
he plays big.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of a bigger Donnell Pumphrey from San Diego State a year ago, where you look at him, you think he shouldn't, run between the tackles the way he does, but he does. And so you got to give him credit, and you got to get our guys ready to play against a back who runs very, very powerfully.
What makes him so durable? Because he has over half their carries.
I don't know, you're going to have to ask their strength coach. They must do a good job out there, because you're absolutely right. I mean, he keeps getting the load, and he stands up to it. So he's an impressive back, and our guys know we've got a challenge ahead of us.
And they have two pretty explosive receivers there on the outside, but they obviously aren't getting the pub that Phillips getting. What have you seen out of those guys?
Well, they've got a first-year starter now, as opposed to what they had an NFL quarterback last year. But both those guys are long. They'll go up and get it. They'll catch the 50-50 balls. We got to do a great job keeping them in front of us and not let it get thrown over the top of us.
How much is not having a guy like Stephen Lufau last year? How much of a difference has that made? I mean, in there.
Well, I think anytime you lose a great quarterback, it's going to be tough on everybody. We lost one the last couple of years. So it's the nature of it. You look at Florida State. It really can change. It really can change your game plan, and as a skilled player, you want to get the touches, and it's tough sometimes. But we're not worried about who their quarterback is. We're worried about playing the Colorado Buffaloes and trying to again limit explosive plays. That's the thing we got to do a much better job of this week.
Under McIntyre for years, doesn't seem like they turn the ball over very much. Is there something about his discipline, their offense, that allows them to not turn it over?
Well, I'm sure that's part of it. They're committed to running the football. One of the things that's impressed me is you go through the cut-ups, there's not a ton of third and long.
Right, yeah.
They're third and short and third and medium, third and manageable. And when you coach that way, you put yourself in good positions to run the football or be in those 50-50 downs. It's hard to get a turnover. Last week we didn't get the number of takeaways we wanted to get because we didn't have a whole lot of third and longs. And when they did, they ran the ball. Except for the one where he gave up an X play. So I think part of it is just they do a great job teaching fundamental football, and the other part is the management of the game is such that they don't get a lot of third and longs.
You mentioned the explosive plays. You guys had done such a good job of stopping those. Last week, was it just a matter of the dynamic offensive guys that you were playing against?
Well, there was
mistakes on your end.
Oh, yeah, there was a combination. You got to take credit. We fundamentally didn't set the edge on him. We didn't, step with a lead foot, near foot. You get hips turned, he's going to make you look silly, and got outside. So that was part of it, and you got to give him credit. The other parts, we didn't fit, 3 runs, things that we had, practiced all week long. We've got to do a better job coaching our guys up, and we got to fit things up better. And then the one explosive pass that we gave up, we got to have set recognition and understand what they're doing, and we just didn't do that.
Cameron Good has been one of your consistent players from start to finish. Do you remember when you first saw him? What your first impressions were of him? And
yeah, I first saw him when I was at another school, and we wanted to recruit him as an outside linebacker in the 3-4. You know, fortunately at the time, unfortunately, but for me now, unfortunately, you know, he came to Cal, and I think he's a prototypical body type for what we're looking for at that position. He's a guy who can rush the passer, he can play in space. He's a fluid guy that can really run with receivers and still do a nice job in pass rush. And the bonus is he really understands football, so we can put him in different positions, and because of his knowledge of the game, he plays fast.
Have you seen him grow from game one till?
From a football standpoint, yes. From a stature, no. We want him to put more weight on.
Okay.
So if you're saying grow, you got to be careful on how you take that.
I got it. But he has grown from a football.
Oh yeah, from a football standpoint, I think Coach Tuioti and Coach Azzanaro are both doing a really nice job. They're taking a great looking piece of clay and molding him to be a really good football player.
You just want her to be a little bigger football player.
Absolutely. Keep adding more clay into there. That's what we're looking for.
Does having a mutual recent opponent in Arizona help in breaking down the tape at all?
I'm sorry.
Does having a recent mutual opponent in Arizona help in breaking down the tape at all?
No, not really. You know, they're going to do what they do. You look over the season, a little bit it's who they're playing. So the structure of the defense is what we're looking at. You know, if someone bases out of a 3-4, we'll look at the plays, how they block those plays, and how they want to attack that type of a defense. So it's more so that than, you know, hey, we had a common opponent in Arizona.
You cut your teeth at Air Force. It's a little bit of a homecoming, at least to the state.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a little bit neat going back there. I've got some good friends in Colorado still. The academy's playing up the road in Fort Collins, but one of my old teammates is going to make it out. He flies for Southwest. He's going to be at the game, so it'll be nice to see him.
Saw Devontae walk out here at the end there and kind of brighten everybody up a little bit. How's he handled everything that's going on right now?
I think very maturely. You know, I was bitterly disappointed for him. He was bitterly disappointed. You know, you put that kind of work in and have the season that he's having, and then to have something like that happen is heartbreaking. You know, a lot of guys will go into a shell. You know, he was about 24 hours that you know felt bad, but since then it's like how does my role change and how do I get this team better? And so, you know, a lot of times during practice he's in getting rehab, but when he comes out, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. Guys have smiles on their faces, and he can give them some insight from playing that, you know, maybe I'm coaching something else up and he's grabbing on the side, which, you know, I really appreciate, and I know the rest of the players do.
I was with that. Has he become another little graduate assistant there?
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, undergraduate assistant, but yeah, no, and I think that will keep him connected to our team and just psychologically help him get through this, knowing that he can continue to help us, you know, have as good a football season as we can have.
And is part of it also him still essentially getting mental rest, because he's going to heal and he's going to be a pro prospect at some point?
Yeah, I assume that, and so does he. And I think we run a defense that translates, you know, to the next level. And so for him to continue to be involved and understand leverages and calls, I think it doesn't do anything but help his game.
Okay.
All right, no problem. I'll go this way. So.